Okay, welcome to Unit 5. This week we are doing genetics and we're doing what is called transcription and translation. We do talk a little bit about genetics more in the future, but this is actually a really cool section. You're going to learn a different language. It's called genetic code, and we're doing a very basic type of code. I'm going to leave a couple things off. That's okay, because most textbooks that cover this particular subject, they talk about transcription, translation, codons. They don't necessarily cover the anti-codon part of it too much, but here, anyway, here is it is about DNA. So here's a nice. There is a lecture here with a couple of things you can click on. This was actually pretty cool. Was it this one? Yeah, this is an interactive. Here's a DNA molecule, and it goes through the process. It has some little bitty things to click on, but it's showing a DNA molecule being split and being copied. So that's actually pretty cool. And there's a couple of other. So it says DNA replication. I believe that's the one I just clicked on actually. But let me go back up, and I'll just go back to the breadcrumbs. Okay. So, yeah, I made 3 videos for you. I actually threw in some Jurassic Park and a little bit of Gattaca. Hope you enjoy that. As far as the DNA outline goes, so give you that every week. This actually has some really good terms in it. I go through the whole thing in one of my videos. I try to make those short. Try to keep them to 10 minutes if I can, if I go over to 15. Here is a codon chart, and I actually gave you that as well under this is what you're going to be using for all of your stuff this week. I like this chart because it gives the amino acid name, phenylalanine, and then it actually gives the 3 abbreviation, and then these are called codons. These are a codon is a section of 3 base pair or nitrogenous bases that constitute a genetic code, and each cell knows which amino acid to use when building a protein based on the genetic code. And here are the start ones. Here are the stop codons. I go through all that with you. While I'm thinking of it, and I'd mentioned this also in the lab, but these bonus lessons that I'm just counting as bonus points and trying to add those as we go through, it has some. This is on page 6 of the lesson, although it's not quite showing up. There it is. There's page 6. This is a great animation on transcription, and there's another animation on translation if you just want another view, and they're really good. They're detailed. They go a little more detailed than we do, but they're really good descriptions. Okay, I'm going to go back. So and that's actually in the bonus lesson. So here's some PowerPoints. This is actually the one from Park. These are ones that I make, and same thing. There's some good pictures. I go through this with you. Here's a little bit about genetics on eye color. This is height, but it does go through and give you examples of here's DNA, how is RNA made. Like here's a strand of messenger RNA, what I call the players. This is a transfer RNA. This is a ribosome. So some really good pictures there. This is a nice little flow chart. And the same thing, we still have gave you the code again. So on the discussion this week, and y'all are doing really good with these, it says here, most diagrams about transcription and translation show the various stages at which the expression of genes can be regulated. Your first question, what is gene regulation? Now, I did give you this. That's kind of a very, very broad, here it is. Very broad definition. So what I did in the very end of the outline here. So here's the definition for gene regulation. And this is the part where you do a little bit of research in these online courses. Look up a scenario where gene regulation goes bad and give an example of that. This is research a consequence if this process goes awry. And then the other one here is select 2 of these processes and discuss them. And we covered all this in the videos and everything. And those animation videos, they cover it as well. So that's the discussion this week. The homework is more of, well, it's pretty much what you've been doing the whole time, but it's, yeah, it says do this on a Word document. Explain the role of DNA and what does it do for cells. It's just a little, like a discussion question. This is more of a matching scenario. What's a start codon? What's a stop? What's messenger RNA? The anti-codon, barely touch on that. Really focus more on the codons and everything. Explain the difference between the 3 kinds of RNA that's in your outline. And then these two are 2 genetic problems. You're going to do the same thing in lab. And then this is a chart. Go ahead and watch this video, but it just asks you where does transcription take place? Where does translation take place? Fill that out. And that's your homework this week. And I go through all of that in your outline. The lab experiment, did a video for that. And then here's the quiz. And I'll change these other due dates to the 20th. I'm giving you till Monday at midnight for all this stuff. But that's what we're doing this week. I mean, I hope this stuff is working for you. Anytime you want to, we could do a Zoom meeting and talk about this in person. But that's what we're doing this week. So anyway, email me if you have any questions.